Goedenavond iedereen. Welkom. I will do this in two languages this evening once more, both English and Dutch. Mijn naam is Erik Franken en ik ben stafmedewerker voor het Koerdisch Instituut. Deze avond is nu onze tweede informatiesessie over Rojava, dus de autonome regio van Noord- en Oost-Syrië. En zoals jullie vermoedelijk al gelezen hebben, zullen er in totaal een zestal webinars doorgaan in de komende weken en maanden. En telkens uiteraard over een boeiende materie dat heel eigen is aan het samenlevingsmodel in Rojava. Net zoals bij onze eerste sessie heeft er zich, dus ik heb het juist al gezegd, wat de taal betreft een gemengd publiek ingeschreven, dus daarom zal de presentatie afwisselend Nederlands en Engels zijn. So therefore I come back in English. Good evening, welcome to all participants. And my name is Erik Franken. I'm a fellow worker at the Koerdisch Instituut, Brussels. And I'm your host for this evening. Thank you for joining this second session of the webinars that are concerning the autonomous administration of North and East Syria, also a region known as Rojava. You probably read that the Koerdisch Instituut organizes in the coming weeks and months a total of 6 webinars concerning this unique society model in Rojava. So similar to our first session, a mixed audience has subscribed to this webinar. So the remainder of this session will be both in English and Dutch. We hebben dus geen simultane vertaling voorzien, maar wat dat wel belangrijk is om te weten, dat is dat het doel van deze sessie die heel interactief is. We hebben dat de eerste sessie ook zo gedaan, dus dat betekent dat jullie commentaar op vlak van opmerkingen, vragen enzovoort, die is zeker welkom. De micro's staan open. Zet ze open, maar geef misschien heel stukjes een seintje, raise hand of zo, die functionaliteit die bestaat binnen Zoom. En dan weet ik onmiddellijk dat ik u het woord kan bezorgen voor een vraag, een opmerking of whatever. Dus dan gebruikt u die fameuze raise hand en dan kan u zelf maar een vraagje stellen en interactief zijn. En net zoals de vorige sessie ook, nemen wij iedere sessie op. Dus deze wordt opgenomen, dat is intussen gestart die opname en die wordt gepubliceerd op onze website. Net zoals dat met de eerste het geval is, en die kan u op die manier dan terug herbekijken. We plannen ongeveer een uurtje, we laten dan niet te lang uitlopen. Het zal interactief worden, dat betekent dat we daar toch wel we gaan daar niet te strak in zijn. Als dat een aantal minuten of een kwartiertje uitloopt, dus kan dat geen kwaad, want dan maakt het leuk. Maar wat dat betreft, we gaan het wel heel interactief maken en ongeveer een uurtje in plannen. So the idea of this webinar is that it becomes interactive and that participants can share their ideas, comments, and questions on the topic that we will have this evening. The moment there is something that you really do not understand, because due to the fact that you didn't understand the language, for instance, please let me know, and I will try to do my very best to explain a little bit and summarize what has been said. So for this purpose, you can use within the Zoom function the chat, the raise hand function. And please let me know at that moment. I will leave you the word, of course. But the mic is yours. You're free to use it and to leave your mic on or off. Maybe during the talk, it's of course proper if you leave it off. We planned approximately 1 hour for this session. If it becomes more interactive, it can be a little bit longer, and that's no issue. We support this. Oké, tot zover de praktische inleiding. Het Koerdisch Instituut had dus voor deze avond een tweetal vrouwelijke sprekers uitgenodigd. Maar ik moet tot mijn spijt hier nu even melden dat het een van de sprekers op het laatste moment heeft afgezegd. Die is in het buitenland, heeft een aantal verplichtingen gehad en dat is heel moeilijk vooruit. Het gaat dus over Nil Verkoç, die de woordvoerster is van internationale betrekkingen van het Nationaal Congres van Koerdistan. Het is natuurlijk jammer om te zeggen, maar we hebben wel gezorgd voor een leuk alternatief. En als ik me niet vergis, dan zou het nog kunnen dat er toch nog iemand, Riwan Derwich, die toch nog zou deelnemen. Ik heb ze nog niet gezien, maar we gaan dat zien. De andere spreker, Zozan Alloush, is wel aanwezig. Zij is de woordvoerster van hier in Europa van de Syrische Democratische Raad. En die heeft de focus op ontwikkeling en humanitaire zaken. Zij neemt ook deel uit vanuit het buitenland, maar ik heb de indruk dat de technologie ons niet in de steek gaat laten en de communicatie blijkbaar lukt. So after the practical things, it's time to introduce our speakers, but I'm sorry to mention already that one of the invited speakers let us know at the last minute, in fact, that she could not join the meeting. I refer to Nilüfer Koç, the spokeswoman for international affairs within the Kurdish National Congress of Kurdistan. But I can assure that we as Koerdisch Instituut, we arranged also already a nice alternative, and I will come back on this within a moment. On the other hand, very proud to welcome once more Zozan Alloush. She is the spokeswoman for the Syrian Democratic Council and co-chair of Development and Humanitarian Affairs for this council. She participates from abroad, so once more I hope sincerely that the technology will keep on running and communication also, of course. So we come to the essence of the webinar. We komen tot de essentie en ik zal zo dadelijk even mijn scherm met jullie delen om nog eens even een opfrissing te doen, want we hebben het over de Democratische Confederatie van Noord-Syrië, Rojava dus. En ik wil dit nog met jullie samen op de kaart stipuleren. Vanavond hebben we het vooral over de unieke rol die de vrouw speelt in Rojava. Want vrouwenemancipatie is werkelijk een hoeksteen van het zogenaamde sociale contract. In Rojava, vrouwen spelen een essentiële rol in eigenlijk alle sectoren, op alle niveaus van de samenleving. Ze bekleden belangrijke functies in de politiek, in de economie, bij justitie en zelfs in defensie. Wanneer het dus gaat over gendergelijkheid, wanneer het dus gaat over vrouwenrechten, dan kan men dus echt wel zeggen, absoluut, dat Rojava-model uniek en revolutionair is, zeker in het Midden-Oosten. Waar dat al die aanpalende regimes zijn, en dan moeten we dat ook wel zeggen, dat is een van de redenen waarom dat die regimes dat model zo ongewenst vinden. So the topic of this evening, as a refreshment, I would like to share with you my screen once more. Just a moment, we'll do that in a moment. So, hope everybody can see the map. This is a refreshment, I would call it, and it's to locate once more the autonomous region of North and East Syria, Rojava in other terms, so you have a good look at it. When looking at this map, it needs to be stressed also that at the left side, Afrin, Turkey has invaded Afrin in 2018 and took aggressively control of this part of Rojava. Now, our topic of this evening is to focus on the unique role that women play in Rojava. So women's emancipation is a cornerstone of the so-called social contract, and women play an essential role in all the layers of the society, whether it is in social life, politics, economics, justice, and even in defense. So in other words, when it comes to gender equality and women's rights, one can absolutely say that Rojava is a unique model, a revolutionary compared to all the adjoining regimes in the Middle East. This is, of course, the main reason why the model is so unwanted for some of these regimes. And now, as an alternative for Nilüfer, the speaker that could not join us, Derwich Ferho, the president of the Koerdisch Instituut, will dive together with you into history and present some concrete examples of remarkable Kurdish women. The presentation is in Dutch, but you will notice that on the slides some clarifications are also written in English. Ik heb in het begin gesproken over een alternatief voor de spreekster Nilüfer Koç. Die kan er dus vanavond niet bij zijn, maar Derwich Ferho, onze voorzitter van het Koerdisch Instituut, is voor jullie even in de geschiedenis gedoken. Hij gaat jullie een aantal opmerkelijke vrouwen presenteren die heel wat betekend hebben in het verleden en nu nog eigenlijk voor de Koerdische beweging en voor de Koerdische strijd voor zelfbestuur. Dus Derwich, het is nu aan jou, zou ik zeggen. Ik ga meteen starten met de eerste slide laten zien en laat maar telkens weten wanneer ik een volgende slide op dat moment moet tonen. Dus dat is de eerste.
Oké, iedereen welkom. En ik wil ook mevrouw Katman, Lucina Katman, hartelijk welkom.
We welcome her very much.
Ja,
Hallo.
Ja, ze neemt deel van heel ver. So my English is not so good, Mrs. Katman. I will try do my speech in Dutch. I hope that you will understand some things from me. علیدن ده از ماموسته مازن پروفسور دکتر کنیاز مرزوف بخیراتن اوی دکم اوجیز کازاکستان باشدار دبی
زور سپاس سرچاو
Namens Begerati. Nu om te beginnen dat de rol van de Koerdische vrouw door de geschiedenis heen zeer groot was in Koerdistan. Ik zal niet beweren dat de rol en de positie van de Koerdische vrouw heel perfect was, dat het echt ideaal was. Nee, maar alleszins, de Koerdische vrouw heeft een zeer grote rol gespeeld en een zeer belangrijke positie had ze altijd in het Koerdisch leven, in Koerdistan in het algemeen. Ik ga enkele voorbeelden geven van die vrouwen die hun naam gemaakt hebben, hun positie versterkt hebben, door hun daden, door hun ideeën, door hun leiderschap in de Koerdische geschiedenis bij de Koerden in het algemeen. Om te beginnen, ik ga heel even hebben over Deze Khatoen bijvoorbeeld, die geleefd heeft in 1186 tot 1242. Eigenlijk een nichtje van Saladin Ayyubi en een zeer grote rol gespeeld heeft in haar omgeving, in de regio's waar ze eigenlijk heerser was. Op een bepaald moment was hij de enige heerser, vrolijke heerser van heel de regio. Een tweede persoon in de geschiedenis, de Koerdische geschiedenis, die haar naam gemaakt heeft, is Adila Khanum, die geleefd heeft in de periode van 1859 tot 1909, dus zeer opmerkelijke vrouw. En zij was de voornaamste politieke leider in de regio Halabja, de huidige Halabja. En dan hebben wij over Fatah Meer of Fatma Rash of Fatah Rash, eigenlijk de Koerdische Amazone die genoemd wordt in de 19e eeuw. Zij was de leidster van haar stam in Senemili. En zij was dag en nacht bezig met ik zou zeggen, de politiek, het sociale, het culturele leven van haar regio. En zij is op een bepaald moment tot in Istanbul gekomen om met de sultan van de Ottomanen te praten, om over de politieke situatie van het land te praten, want zij had bepaalde opmerkingen die zij aan de sultan gezegd heeft. Een derde zaak dat ik wil toch zeggen is dat de Koerdische vrouw begin vorige eeuw, begin van de 20e eeuw, zich georganiseerd heeft. En ze heeft een organisatie, een vereniging opgericht, gesticht in begin vorige eeuw. En u ziet op de foto hoeveel vrouwen betrokken waren bij die vereniging. Dus zij hadden hun rol in politiek leven van de Koerden. Dan hebben wij, dan mogen we zeker niet vergeten dat prinses Mayan Khatoen, de moeder van de enkele jaren geleden overleden prins van de Jezidis, Mirta Sinbek. Mayan Khatoen heeft meer dan 50 jaar een zeer grote rol gespeeld in het leven van de Jezidis. Dan hebben wij ook zeker en vast over Maryam Khan, een van de bekendste Koerdische zangeressen. Een persoon die voor de rechten van de Koerdische vrouw vocht in haar tijd, wat het niet gemakkelijk was. En ik kan u ook zeggen dat zowel Maryam Khan als Aisha Shan in die periode bijna de eersten waren die lang speelplaten op de markt brachten. Dus twee opmerkelijke vrouwen. En dan mogen we ook niet vergeten, een van de meest bekende vrouwen die een politieke carrière achter haar naam heeft. Dat is Leyla Zana, geboren in 1961. En ze heeft dan gedurende enkele jaren in het Turks parlement gezeten. Ze was verkozen tot parlementslid in Turkije. Maar omdat zij in het parlement zelf gewoonweg in het Koerdisch een groet gebracht heeft, is zij later tot 15 jaar gevangenisstraf veroordeeld. Na 10 jaar was ze veroordeeld. Zij heeft van het Europees Parlement de prijs van Sakharov gekregen. Ze heeft die prijs niet kunnen in ontvangst nemen. Haar man heeft in die periode die prijs is komen halen. En dan mogen we ook niet vergeten, we moeten zeker hebben over Rojava Ferho. De persoon, de Koerdische strijdster die Raqqa bevrijd heeft van de IS. En dat was ook de onmiddellijke einde van de IS-patrimonium. Dus ze heeft het echt de genadeslag toegediend aan de IS. En sindsdien is de IS eigenlijk hopelijk in de geschiedenis gegaan. Maar dan hebben we ook de huidige heldinnen van de Koerdische strijd, van de strijd van de vrouw, de strijd van de vrouw in de Koerdische samenleving. Om te beginnen kunnen we als voorbeeld geven Beritan. Dus een heldin, een ironische figuur, die in 2006 vermoord werd. Om niet in de handen van de vijand te vallen, heeft dan zelfmoord gepleegd. En wij gaan dan terug naar Fidan Doğan, Rojbin en Sakine Cansız, Leyla Şaylamez, die in 2013 vermoord werden in Parijs. Sakine Cansız is de persoon die haar folteraar in het gezicht spuugde. Dus dat is iemand die een ongelooflijke durf had. Ze kon in de gevangenis tijdens de folteringen nooit in de handen van de vijand kunnen vallen. De vijand heeft ze eigenlijk met haar spuug in het gezicht van de folteraar verslagen, kan ik zeggen. En dan hebben we ook niet alleen 1 of 2 of 3, maar de voornaamste politieke leiders van de strijd, bijvoorbeeld Fatma Adir, Bessie Hoza, Beritan Dersim, die een zeer belangrijke rol spelen, nu nog steeds in de strijd voor de bevrijding. Dus met andere woorden kan ik zeggen dat de Koerdische vrouw altijd een belangrijke rol gespeeld heeft, een zeer sterke positie heeft binnen de Koerdische gemeenschap. Er is nog heel wat te doen voor de positie van de vrouw, om dat te verbeteren, maar alleszins de Koerdische vrouw is het waard om te zeggen, zij verdient het en zij moet het beter leven. Ik ga hierbij houden, zodat de andere sprekers ook een betere uitleg geven, want zij zijn op de hoogte van Rojava. En ik geef het woord aan Erik terug.
Oké, super. Dank je, Derwich. En ook dank u uiteraard. Many thanks for this intervention. We now come, in fact, to the interactive part of our session, and I propose now to switch from now on to English, because we will speak also with Zozan, and I heard maybe the second speaker, but I'm not sure she already joined. So because I will start anyway already with the first question for Zozan. So Zozan, with what we have seen now from Derwich, already showing quite some women within the Kurdish movement that have really been important for the Kurdish struggle. Maybe can you first explain the audience what made the Kurdish movement focus on women in general? So how historically, I would call it, has it become the central question for the Kurdish struggle? Maybe I would start with that. And of course, I invite all people and participants to be very interactive and to ask questions. So just raise the hand and you will come at your turn, of course. Please, Zozan.
Yeah. Good evening, and thank you, Eric. Thank you, Mr. Derwich, for the presentation. It was really nice to know about all these Kurdish women and the history of the Kurdish woman. Actually, I am in a public place, so maybe it will be some sound, so I'm sorry for that. Coming back to your question, Eric, I will try to talk about the system in Rojava in Northeast Syria and how the system is built to be to respect the gender equality and be sensitive to the gender equality. And I will not only speak about the Kurdish women, I will talk about all the women in Northeast Syria because they are doing very good job, a fantastic job. I just came back just a few days ago to Europe, and I think what they are doing there, it's really wonderful. Now in the system in Rojava, in North and East Syria, we have, like, I think the co-chair system, and you have the women laws, and you have many movements to protect and to provide some nice system to the women. And we have in the papers, every time I say, as we have a political will in Northeast Syria, that make the way to the gender equality very fast somehow. And then we will think about the empowering women, thinking about the capacity building and all these things. Maybe we'll talk about it later. In the system in Rojava, in the papers, it's not written women and men and feminism or not. No, it's written very clever because they say 40% for each gender and 20 for the best. So it means we don't have quota for women. We have 40% for men, 40% for women, and the 20 is for the first. And that means it's really the papers which are written, it's very gender sensitive. In every single place in this paper, they say citizens. Maybe in the English language, it's one word, but in the Arabic, for example, it's citizens for men and citizens for women. So feminist and masculine. So, and everywhere it's that. And also we have some apart for the women laws to protect women rights in terms of after the divorce, you have your children. In terms, if your man is died, you have the right to have the legacy of him, like houses. But before it wasn't possible. And then we have somehow some system for the women in the Arab sides, for example, who are part of some Arab leaders, the Arab tribes, which is very different with the Kurdish cities and Kurdish system and Kurdish women. So what I'm trying to say, in the paper, everything is done. And in the ground, you just, for example, the population in Syria is now like, in general, it's like 60% or 70% are women, So in Rojava, when you are in the ground, you can note that because you go to the offices, you face women. They are on the table. They are managing the work. You go to the camps, 70% of the workers are women. You go to the checkpoint, most of them are women, So it's really gender equality, and it's really they are part of the system. I asked one leader about the corruption, for example, and they talked about the system that they are facing, like a mentality of having the corruption, that the money of the system can be stolen because it's part of the money of the population, So they think like that. And he told me that then the place that we have women in leadership, the corruption is least. So it's very interesting, So they are trying somehow to have more corruption in their system or in their place where they are working. So in general, I can't say I give this overview about the system in Rojava in North and East Syria. And maybe you can note some difference between the cities of where the Kurdish are more, for example, and the Arab cities somehow it's different. But for example, I have been in Deir ez-Zor, and it's very interesting to see women from Deir ez-Zor in checkpoints, you know. So they are just part of Atayish, they are part of the Syrian Democratic Forces, they are part of, I have been in the academic of YPG, and the leader told me, if we open the door for everyone, the Arab population will be more than Kurdish in Syrian Democratic Forces and YPG, you know. So somehow it's very interesting, and I think we can talk about what kind of challenges they are facing maybe later, but this is the overview of the system in general.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I see already a few questions, but I will immediately come back to those questions because I would like to ask one myself on top of what you came to mention, because that's what is already included in the system, if I understand it well. And but with the knowledge that we have from the autonomous region of North and East Syria, there is you have quite some diversity of cultures and religions. And is that how is the mentality between the different cultures? Are they going along with the aspect of gender equality? Could you say that all the noses are more or less getting in the right direction, or does that all takes time before we get there?
You know, maybe in the ground you feel the difference, and we talk later, but in the system you cannot note the difference. Why? Because we have the Syriac in the system, we have Armenian in the system, we have the Assyrian in the system, we have Arabs, and we have Kurds. So they have their Gota as multicultural difference. They have the Gota in the system. This Gota, when they present, for example, the name of four men, it's rejected. It cannot be. It should be 2 men, 2 women, you know. We talk about the Arabs, for example, from Deir ez-Zor, from Raqqa, from Manbij, and from Tabqa. So when they came with the name of the men for some place, so it's rejected. There should be 2. So they should go back and come with 2 or 3 women, depend on the Gota. It's half. It's 50% should be women. And the same if Syriac. For example, we have now in the head system, we have the co-chair of the Syria and of the Northeast self-administration in Syria, you know. So it's 1 man and 1 woman. So the man is Arab, the woman is Kurd. If the woman is Arab, it should be the man Kurds, you know. So they cannot come with they say that we are in Arab place, we only have men. It cannot be, it's not accepted in the system. And that's what I told you. As we have the political will, everything is okay. So now we should talk about the capacity building and other things. You have the commune, for example, in the places of Arabs, you know, it should be a man and woman. It should be, because if you have, it's 2 men, it's rejected in the system. So this can protect all the women from the different cultures. But maybe now the challenges that women are facing in their place of work, for example, maybe can be different from one culture to others.
Yeah.
But in terms of the Gota, there are no difference between Arabs or Kurds, because it's Gota, it should be 50%.
Okay, so that's thanks to the quota that exists, in fact, and those are stipulated within the laws, if I understand it well. Those quota. Sorry. There's like you said, there are quota that say that you need to have at least the 1 man, 1 women situation. Yes. But that's already stipulated within the laws in themselves. Is that something that's part of the social contract, or how do we? Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
In the social contract, it's written 50% for each gender.
Yes.
40% is for each gender, 20% for the best one, for the most qualified, you know. And then you have in the social contract the 7 points. The 7th point, I think, no, the 3rd point is that this social contract in Northeast Syria respect gender equality and their all paper should be sensitive to gender equality. Okay. So it's written in the third one. After the first one, it's about the respecting each other as culture. The second one is about the economic, and the third one comes the woman role. So there is the role. This contract, social contract, have been written after in 2016, renovated in 2017 in Isa, between the seven civil councils in Northeast Syria. Okay. So it's like this, yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's nice. Then in that case, just one more question before I go to the question of Bart Rombaerts, for instance, but just one more from my side. So what would be, if you have a look now at the situation, so there is some ideas that, well, there is within the movement some theory and practices that are developed that are unique within Rojava, but if you, with what you know now from the Western situation, how would you compare that with Western feminism? Is there a possibility to say that within Rojava the situation is more, the perspective is different, or much different?
You know, Eric, I will be honest, we cannot compare. You know why?
Compare. No, it's,
no, we are talking about Northeast Syria with its very small geographic, controlled somehow by a political will, which comes from, for example, Öcalan mentality, who is respecting the woman role in the society. And his mentality is that no society, even the Kurdish society, cannot be free without activation of the woman role. You know, so we are talking about very small geography, comparing with the Western, which they have a very old system. The feminism is more radicalized. And I think from my point of view, very personal point of view, the feminism in Western is facing very big problem because with the media, and sometimes it's not good represented, you know. In comparing with in Northeast Syria, they are very careful about each movement from the woman movement. I will tell you something. In Tabqa in 2017, I had a seminar talking about the woman rule, which the Northeast Syria wanted to sign. And in the fourth point, they say the diversity of having 4 women, it's forbidden. You know, the Muslim people, they are allowed to marry with 4, you know. So it said it's forbidden. And it was a woman seminar. So they throw out on us eggs, because the woman cannot imagine how you can do something against the Islam. Now, I have been in Tabqa one more time. We did a seminar with Shams organization, and they are asking for activation of this rule, even in Arab cities. So what I'm trying to say, it's just a very simple point how the culture can affect. And the Western, we are talking about very different rule, very different will, and very different what they are asking for. You know, they have somehow Gotha, they have the freedom of women, and they have democracy. I mean, you know, somehow. But now, somehow we don't know what we are asking for in Western way. It's not written. It's not clear for me as a feminist, you know. So yeah, so it's very, very different. Okay. I don't know if you get my point.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I get the point. I hope that the audience gets the point also, because I will leave the word now to somebody already who raised the question also. Maybe Bart, I saw your question, but if you want to, you can ask it yourself and join and open your mic. Bart Rombaerts? If not, then I will ask the question, Bart. Okay. Seems it's not working. Oh, you prefer to type the question. No problem. Bart, so the question from Bart is the next. With regards to the more current prominent women in the Kurdish movement, he asks, Ayn Hozat and Dozin were wearing fatigues/uniforms similar to the PKK outfits. So were they within the PKK before coming to Northeast Syria? That's one question. And also the female commander responsible for liberating Raqqa, was she also active outside Northeast Syria before the threat of ISIS or Syrian civil war? Is that something what you can answer? Because this may be also a question for Derwich. But let's start first with you, Zozan.
From my point of view, the woman role and the woman as a feminism active movement around the world. I mean, I don't care if they have background from PKK, if they have background from Israel, or if they have background from anywhere, because I am a woman, and I think somehow we have, and we are challenging, facing the same challenge, you know. So this the typical relation all the time Northeast Syria to PKK. I think PKK have been active in Northeast Syria for 30 years, you know, and it's not a secret. After 30 years or 40 years of being active in some society, you should have your sign on this society. Our people respect PKK. We respect their struggle. We respect all the women in that mountain. They fought for us. They fought for me. And now if me as Zozan, I'm talking here, it's because I have their favor. For their struggle for many years, I am now here, you know. So if she have been in Raqqa and before she have been in some mountain, I don't care. In the end, she is citizen of Syria. She is a woman, Kurdish woman. And after fighting 30 years in Ahmad or in Kandil or I don't know where, she decided to come back to her country and fight there. So this is my point, you know. So I don't care about the relation and about the background of we have international women also. We have women from Africa. We had women from Lebanon. We have women from South America. We have women from Europe countries who saw the struggle or the fight against ISIS, their fight, and they decide to come to Northeast Syria and join the fight. So this is my point, you know. I mean, yeah. I don't know what to say more. Maybe Mr. Derwich has something to add.
No, I didn't see anything coming back next to what you answered. The answer is quite clear. Another question that I saw here is that people are interested in the concept of genealogy.
Yes.
Yeah, of course, but. If I would raise the question in a generic way, tell us more about the concept genealogy. Maybe you could try to summarize, but I can imagine this is an answer that go on maybe for an hour. But how would you answer that, Zozan?
You know that the concept of genealogy came from Mr. Abdullah Öcalan, who thinks that the woman word it's a very, very deep word, and it should be written and read and in very deep way, you know. I am not expert in genealogy. I'm still reading about their work. I think they have their center in Brussels. The next time you can invite someone from them.
We will.
But it's very developed in Rojava, in Northeast Syria now. I have been in one academy of them before the lockdown, because in last 7 days of my visit, they were lockdown. I visited them. I think they need to be more deep in the genealogy in general. There are some books about the genealogy, some articles on the internet. I don't want to talk about it anymore more because I don't have the right concept of them, and I don't want to present this genealogy in not good way, you know, and maybe or not good words. So maybe next time, Eric, you can invite someone from them because they speak English and they are very deep in that.
Yeah, that seems a good idea. I think we will do that anyway, because there are several other webinars that are following. So we will do that in another occasion, during another occasion for sure. There's currently, I don't have other questions coming from the audience already, but I have one question maybe to the audience itself, because I'm not sure whether Rewan already joined. She was going to be the alternative for the second speaker. If so, can you please raise your voice? Just a question. I don't have the idea that she has. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, then we keep on. Then we keep on going with you, Zozan. So I have a question here, which is let's say once more related to the laws. Yes, indeed. Yeah, indeed. Well, once more related to the gender-sensitive laws. And the thing is that how do they are going to be transferred within practice? In the sense that, can you give some examples that makes it more concrete for the audience to say, okay, by these type of laws are stipulated, those are focused on gender equality, and in practice it shows that it has its success within the society. Can you give some concrete examples on that topic?
Yeah, sure. For example, I will begin in every places, about 100 family, they make a commune, system. In the commune, they have like co-chairs. In each co-chair, in each commune, they have women committee. For example, if two want to divorce, they should go to this women committee. Before, when they divorce, automatically the children should go with the father. Now, by this law, it's not like this. The women committee meet two parts, and if they decide to go with the father, and if the mother wants their children, the children are for the mother. Without any kind of discussions, And if the father insists to have their children, so they can make like a contract telling that some days is with the father, other days with the mother. But it should be with the okay of the mother. If not, until the 18, the children are for the mother and they stay with the mother. Before, if you have the children and you remarriage one more time, the children automatically go to the father. By this law, it's not like this. If the mother wants to keep their children, she keep the children. And the father should pay somehow from his salary, like 30% of his salary to the woman, to the mother, as part of the cost of the children and all these things. Other law. Now the 4 women are forbidden. In the Kurdish city, they are very strict with that. In the Arabic city, not that much, because they're facing problem with the tribes. And this is making a lot of problems, because the Kurdish city are saying that you have double face. And you should not have double laws. And if it's forbidden in Kobani, it should be forbidden in Hasake and Raqqa also. But it's a big challenge for the self-administration. The tribe system and the tribe mentality is very different, but they are doing that step by step. In the Kurdish city, if they know that you are remarried one more time without the know of the system, you should divorce. It's not so they should divorce. It's not fair, due to the community mentality, because the other woman, she has no fault on that, but the system say no. Since 2017, we have this law. Every woman knows about this law, so she cannot accept to be second wife. And other things, example, before, if your husband is died, for example, or he is just lost, the family of the father, of the husband, they have the right to take children and the legacy, houses, cars, anything, Now, by this law, no. By this law, the woman is the who have the right to have all these things. If the husband is died, or husband is lost, or somehow the husband left the woman, we don't know. So by the law, by the commune, she keep everything. This is 3 examples, you know, and we have other examples. For example, you can touch the system of co-chair everywhere. You can touch the having 40% of each gender in everywhere. So the other things, before we had like early marriage. Now, under 18, if they know some girl is forced or she is going to marriage, even she accepts that with her will, it will be stopped until she has 18.
Okay.
So there are no discussion. She will be stopped, you know. So this is 4 or 5 examples I can give, and there are many examples. Now, if you ask me if there are some challenges, yes. Culture challenges, community challenges, tribes challenges, and the woman mentality challenge, you know. For example, I met women, girls here, they are 17, and she say, I will to marry, so it's by my will. So this system and this this law is not fair, you know. So this mentality needs time to respect or to understand this law and why this law is written. Maybe after having and changing the mentality of the community, we will not need these laws because they are strict and they are very good follow-up by a women committee and some SIH and all these things, you know. It's a system to follow up all these things. Now, Eric, I will try just to explain the woman system inside Rojava, how it works, you know, just maybe it's not clear. A part of all the co-chairs and 40% of women and all the things, we have Women Council for North and East Syria. This Women Council is made and formed by 17 women from 7 civil councils in Northeast Syria. And the co-chair of the old system of the Northeast Syria, she is part of this council. Ilham Ahmed, for example, she is part of this council. Other leaders, party leaders, or civil society leaders, or activists, they are part of this council. And this council is somehow doing a secretary. If a paper is presented to the economic committee, it should go through this secretary, and they should add, if it's needed, they should add some gender equality view or ads or something to this paper, and then it can be transferred to the committee, you know. So they are not exquisite body. They are not justice body, but they are like secretary doing all this job to go through all the system in Northeast Syria. I don't know if I can explain it good. So Congress Star, which have been formed in 2005 and have been working with women, Kurdish women in Northeast and especially in Rojava, they are part of this council, you know. So all the secretary work, which should be sensitive to the gender sensitive and gender equality and all these things, it should grow to go through this council, this committee, women committee.
Okay, yeah. That makes it quite much more clear for us, of course.
And it's and this model, just 1 minute, this model has been taken from Portugal experience. In Portugal, they had the same experience. In the beginning, they formed a council for women to be part of the system, like economic party or legitimate party and all these things. And then they saw that they are facing a lot of problems because many papers are not going through them and it's not part of their work. So they decide to make it like a secretary office. And this secretary office is woman office. So this model has been taken from Portugal experience.
Great. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Then I leave the word now to Koen, who raised his hand. And Koen, you have a question?
Yeah, before you mentioned the YPG, I think I have heard, and I'm not sure if it is correct, but if you are in YPG, you cannot have a relationship. Is that correct, or is that the wrong information I got?
It's wrong information.
Okay, sorry.
They're married, they have children.
Okay,
they're
because I
people.
thought I picked that up and I had a question about that. So my question, I don't have a question about that. And sorry, that was wrong information. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, no problem. Then I once more from Bartu as the following question with regards to implementing the social contract in Arab dominant areas. Zozan, you spoke about your experiences in Tabqa, but in the Syrian-Iraqi border region, there are also numerous Arab tribes with more or less conservative social and/or cultural dynamics. So how successful was implementing the social contract in these areas where the security situation is what you call more delicate?
You know, Eric, everything go around economic needs, you know.
That's for sure.
To be honest, yeah. And in Northeast, the system is giving you opportunity of work, opportunity to have economic, some economic entrance to the family. So I think this is it was the first step the tribes thought about, or the Kurdish people, or everything in the system I'm talking, you know. So if you don't want to have women in the system in Arab cities where the tribes are more powerful, it's okay, but you will have the chair empty chair, you know. You cannot put a man in the place of the woman. So they have the empty chair. So I think this is the point, you know, why having empty chair? So I can put my daughter, I can put my sister, you know. In the beginning, it was like that. And then it's developed, you know. And I think the woman mentality now, it's very developed. And just let me be clear. In our culture, the woman has role, but they are not known or seen, you know. In my house, the rule was for my mother. I mean, my father just was the man who bring fruits or vegetarian and money, but who moved this money was my mother. And in even Arab tribes, they are the man is who are inviting you, the man is who are meeting you, but in the house, in their house, in their family, the role is for the woman. So now, there are new generation of women, even in Arab countries and in Arab cities. So they want to be part of the system. I'm sorry.
Bless you, bless you.
Thank you. So I think the beginning was with the economic needs, and then having the empty chair, and then the generation, new generation, they are now more connected to internet, they are more connected to see models around the world, and there's some competition between the culture in Northeast Syria. So for example, before, the modern woman who had their full right was the Syrian, the Christian woman. And then comes the Kurds and Arabs, because the Christian mentality and culture is more modern than ours, the Islamic, you know. So before was like this. And then with the revolution, it changed. The Kurds have been the number one, for example. So then Arab women want to have the competition, and they work more, they want to be part of that system. Just let me tell you very funny, I'm talking in very funny way, but because it's really like a competition, you know. We have been in 2018 trying to form Northeast Council for all the 7 civil councils, because we had problem with the corporation, problem with the communication, problem with the cooperation and other things. So we needed a council who can be like a coordination council. And the economic committee should be from their resource, you know. It was like a negotiation. This can be for Hasake, this can, you know, the mentality of the community there. So the economic committee should be from their resort. So we need woman and a man, you know. So we asked the committee that we need a man and a woman. We say, no, the woman doesn't understand about the economics, so we will send you to man. So we say, no, it's not, it should be a man and a woman. So they didn't accept. We met a woman from their resort. She have been living in Raqqa, and she is professor, you know. We told her about the issue, and we say, look, we are asking for a woman, and they say they don't have qualified women for that. And you have a good study, just contact them and present yourself and ask for this place, you know. So she was really interested, Yani. She talked with the civil council in their resort and say, this have been asked, and you say there are no women qualified in their resort? He said, no, because you are living in Raqqa. He said, no, they asked from women at their resort. I'm from their resort, so I am going to this place. They talked with her husband to not go. So she faced problem with her husband, and she told us that she's facing divorce, you know. So we talked with the husband and we say, look, having this position, she will have very good salary, very good economic power, and blah, 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 and all the things. So try to do it and respect it. It's a very good opportunity for you and for your wife. So he accepted, and we had the woman. In the day of the meeting, we present her that we have a woman who can be in economic committee. So it's like this, you know. We try to make sometimes like, we try to lie sometimes to be honest, sometimes to talk with the woman apart, sometimes because we live in a very complicated place. We are facing ISIS, we are facing the regime, we are facing Turkey, we are facing enemy inside. We don't know if USA really needs and wants the good for us. We have Iran in their resort. So we should be very flexible, and we, as a woman, and this is my point with the women from around Syria, we say, maybe we come from very different backgrounds, very different political backgrounds. Some are Islamic backgrounds, some are from Idlib, some are from Damascus, regime background, some come from opposition. But we as a woman, we should all the time find some platform to represent and ask for our laws and our rights, you know. So this is what we try to do in Northeast Syria. I'm sorry to be long, you know. I had to give an experience. Yeah.
No. Very happy to hear all about this. All what you mentioned is indeed quite human indeed. And now I see we are about more or less about 8. So it leaves us other people, if they want, they still can ask one question. Well, maybe let's say one question additionally. I have one here from Mark, and it's I think it's quite relevant in the sense that what he asks is a situation, can you make a difference in the situation with regards to domestic violence and violence on women? Does that has an impact on the violence against women? What with the situation you have currently in Rojava? In fact, that's more or less the question as I read it.
To be honest, we are living in a war zone. And yes, we are facing a lot of challenges, and one of them is domestic violence, you know. Once it's reported, we have houses for women, safe houses, we call it, if she want to leave and she need a safe place. If she want to resolve it, we have the women committee who can resolve, and women houses who can resolve this. But to be honest, 80% of women who have or facing and domestic violence, they don't report it. They don't do it because they are afraid of divorce. They are afraid of losing something, even their law to protect them. But they believe in the law of the community more in the law of the system because it's new for them. You know, we are talking about law which has been written just in 4 years ago, comparing with community law, which is 100 years old, you know.
Mhm.
So sometimes 80% of the women doesn't talk about the violence. But if they talk about it, there are many ways to help and to provide services to her. So yeah, I mean, sure, we are facing, and maybe all of us, we are facing somehow. For example, I travel a lot, and I have to be in Syria sometimes, in camps and that. And sometimes my husband, he stay with my child, and he think he's staying with my child, not his child, you know. So it's very funny for me. So this is the face other women are facing, that, you know. So he think, for example, they told us that one woman, she is working in a NGO, and she had like good salary in Iraq, in Raqqa. And this is one example I will give, and I will end here. I have been in Raqqa, and we talked about the Syrian woman and mediation. So one woman came, she had been beaten. It's very clear, you know. So just normally I asked her, Noura, you are okay, you feel good, and she's working in an NGO. She told me, I give all my salary to my husband. He is not working. My children are with my mother, and he beated me because yesterday I came late. I wasn't able to cook, so he beat me, and he take all the time my salary. So I asked her, why you give your salary to him? And why? He say, because he's a man. So I stopped here, you know. I think we need a long way to talk with the woman before the man, you know. So yeah, they are facing, and
Yeah, but that's it. I would even add to that, that's a little bit a similar situation even in the West, where nowadays with COVID situation, domestic violence is even more increasing once more, and those are the figures we hear in media, in press, and so on. As I mentioned, we passed about 8, so I don't have the feeling that other people, unless people, you can go ahead if there are one more question, and then I would like to conclude. And if not, then maybe Zozan, I would just leave some final words from you, just to hear if you could give like a message to conclude this topic, and to say, okay, well, what is the importance of this webinar we had today, this evening, to take along with us? So I leave that to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, first, Eric, for you and the Koerdisch Institute and all the effort you are doing. I think not talking about only the system in Rojava, it's very important, but I think giving some help to this system to continue and develop, it's needed. And all the capacity building is needed for all these women, because they are now part of the system. They are having some role in this system, but they need to be empowered. They need to be helped, and they need to learn how to act and how to work. So I think this is the only thing I can do and I can say. And thank you very much for all the people who are interested in the woman situation in North and East Syria. And if I forget something, or maybe I wasn't clear in something, I apologize. I will try to work on my English more for next time. Thank you very much.
I will call it perfect anyway, the English, for sure. Okay, thank you very much, Zozan. Thank you all that participated. I just would like to remind the participants that, of course, we are going on with the different webinars, and the next will be on the, if I'm not mistaken, the 29th of April, that is correct. And then we will focus more on what you could call the role of the minorities in the system of self-administration, and the proportion of that role. So that's something that we will focus on next session. I wish to thank everybody for the participation, and especially you once more, Zozan, for explaining all this to us.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Good night. Thanks all. Bye.